So let me first say, I am a parent of a neurologically atypical young person. I agree with you that I think that many of people have a different perspective are going to end up being contributors in highly distinctive ways. I will say that even kids who are not going to be contributors in highly distinctive ways still deserve schools that can support and accommodate them. And that, to me, these kids are, like, the shorthand I use is that they're spiky. You know, it's like you have very high capacities in some respects or a different point of view, and then real challenges in other respects. And so if I send you into a social environment where there are 30 kids for one teacher, you're going to have a terrible, terrible time, and that's 100% predictable. And so if then you have like a critical mass of people that resemble this, then you should try and design an institution that takes that into account. And I feel so deeply for families that struggle with this, like you struggle with it. Sounds like you've experienced it. I've struggled with it. And you and Pia, and me and Evelyn, like, we have an unusual level of ability to try and, manage situation. And I meet single moms around the country who have, autistic or neurologically atypical kids that don't have the means, and they live in a part of the country that does not have like a lot of resources in place for kids that are different. And it breaks my heart. Like the fact that there are all of these kids that are heading into these schools that are getting, more than low grade psychic beatings.
I mean, God, this is why I leave my DMs open on Twitter. And this is one of the number one things I do it for, is people write to me and they say, I know you're really busy, but I just want to tell you nobody had ever spoken to my situation. You're proud of something I'm always ashamed of. And
I guarantee you I'm not the first presidential candidate with autism in the family.
Yeah.
And the fact that I'm the first talking about it is, to me, long overdue and ridiculous.
Amen.
And, and I get some of the same messages that you get, but like, I want to actually try and solve the problem for those families. I mean, it makes me feel glad that they feel spoken to and that they realize they're not the only ones going through it.
I want to see more money going to figure out how do we diversify the classroom of the future.
Yeah.
So that the load isn't borne by people who don't fit the economics of the teaching model.
Yes. And part of it is that that we regard the education of our kids as a cost. And so then the city then is like, well, I can't afford to have like a teacher for your neurologically atypical kid. And so what we have to do is talk about inverting the model. Is you have to look at the education of our children as an investment. And then you say, what's that? Like, these kids require, like X and Y, then we should make that investment with the certainty, and I share your confidence in this, that you have a couple of those kids do something highly atypical and remarkable, then that pays for whatever support or teachers or infrastructure.
Movement. I mean, I just had a very well-known professor revealed to me that he couldn't read papers in his field. Like, he just can't read, and he has to figure out what the paper is likely to be saying. There is such a weird world of unexpected achievement.
And this is the demon. This is the demon that we have to slay in many ways. Is that the negative externalities are not being encompassed within the budgets of various institutions.
Very well said.